Hi everyone, this is Kirei with another process video for Bramble Fox. And for this layout, I'm using the new Good Vibes set and the Paris Landmark set that are both available in the shop now, and the new Fox Cut number 69 stencil. So I pulled out the new Vicki Boutin Where to Next collection because pretty obviously I'm going to be scrapping some Paris photos. And those of you who are familiar with Bramble Fox have probably seen quite a few of these photos because a large group of us went over to Paris recently and to go to the Version Scrap show, which was fantastic. So I have some photos of myself, Vicki, and Wendy, and when we did a bit of a sort of speed sightseeing day out in Paris, getting round to all of the, all of the popular landmarks. So I've got 4 photos of us outside the Eiffel Tower, Sacré-Cœur, the Louvre, and Notre Dame. So the Paris Landmarks perspective set was just perfect for to go with these photos. So pulled a few pieces of the patterned papers, and it's this sort of border striped one, and I've cut that up, and I'm using that as a base for my photos. And then I've pulled out some of the embellishments, and I'm just having a play and working out where I'm going to sort of place them along with the perspectives. And they're all in black, so they're perfect actually because they work really nicely with the pattern papers. And then I just wanted to add some like pops of colour with the pinks, the yellows, the sort of tealy, the green, and the blue. So I'm sort of happy with what I've done. I've sort of taken a pause there, figuring out what am I doing next. But I'm happy with everything and how it looks. So I'm going to start working on it. So of course I'm going to be distressing all of the individual paper strips. Couldn't possibly leave them all flat. I just like that extra sort of texture on the edges. So getting them up, getting all of those distressed first so that I can sort of get those down. But I am going to do some stenciling once I've, figured this, got these sort of done, and then I can sort of work out where they are, and then I can add my stenciling. So that's all done. Oh, that's what I'm going to do next. Actually, I am going to trim off those extra wide white borders around the ephemera because there is yeah, I mean, you don't have to do it. I'm a bit particular, so I do like to just trim off that extra white border. Okay, I'm happy now. I've got all of the ephemera trimmed down, and now I'm going to work on the stenciling. I've drawn around actually already just with pencil where the 3 pattern papers sit, and I'm pulling in now some Distress Oxides along with the stencil, and I'm just going to sort of add that detailing. Now, to be fair, I do end up covering quite a lot of this up, but hey, I know it's there, and you can just see little pops of it, so that's fine. So I'm adding the sort of the blue there. That is, I used the Faded Jeans Distress Oxide on that one on the right. I've actually pulled out a load of colours. I'm working out which ones match, which ones work best. So now I've got I think I'm going to pull in, which one am I working with? Peacock. Yes, Peacock Feathers I'm working with here with this sort of notebook edged stencil, which I really love. And I'm also going to add the scalloped one and another one. Oh, here we go. I'm adding in, which one am I adding in now? Now I start adding this, and this is scattered straw, and I add it in yellow, and I actually changed my mind. I actually think I should have left it in yellow, but I cover it up with the Hickory Smoke in grey, which doesn't look great. So I should have, I think, left it in the yellow. I think I would have been happier. Anyway, you live and learn. And it's a tiny amount that you see anyway, so it doesn't matter. So, and then I'm going to actually add go round the edges of the stencil with just a fine black journaling pen. I've quite a few people do that, and I really like the sort of effect it gives. It pulls up the detail a little bit more. So I do that around all of the stencils. So working around here, then I'll go around the notebook one. You just have to be a little bit careful here because of the fine detail pieces on the stencil. I go around the edge of that, and I really like the way it looks. Actually, it sort of rather than the stencil being sort of a softer, it gives it a more bolder feel. It sort of pops out a little bit more from the background. Right, so I can then sort of work in my pattern papers and I'm just looking at placement. I'm deciding that I'm going to now, this is where I changed it and I add the sort of hickory smoke, which is like a grey over the top, but it looks a bit, it's not great. Anyway, as I said, it's fine because it's such a tiny piece that's popping through anyway. It doesn't really matter. Okay, I'm just working out because I'm going to add a little bit more actually. I'm going to add this scalloped edge as well. And I'm pulling out the Evergreen Bough Distress Oxide and I'm just adding a bit to the top and the bottom here as well. And then I'll also go around the edges with the black journaling pen. And then I'm sort of ready to get everything layered onto it, onto the background. So here we go. Okay, so I moved on. I have got my 4 photos and I've decided to mount them on this sort of peachy pink matte paper just so that they pop a little bit from the background because it is going to be it's sort of quite busy. I've just actually realised here, if you noticed, those 2 photos, I hadn't trimmed them down on that top edge. I still had a wide white border, so I was just doing that. Okay, so they've all been mounted and I distressed the edges and I'm now going to start to add them to my background. And I really distressed the edges, lifted the corners up on those pattern papers on the background as well. Now I've got that sticker strip there. I've sort of playing around with it. I don't add it in the end. I play around with it and I didn't add it. I mean, to be fair, it would have been pretty covered up anyway. So I've got this. I love that sort of that note board clip piece there that I'm going to add as a little backing for that top right photo. And I'm just adding a few of the elements in because I'm working out how I'm going to stick those photos down because then I can get them sorted out. Okay, now we can stick finally, which is good. So just adding the noteboard there. And I've just raised the top edge with foam pads. Just again, it's flat at the bottom. It just adds that extra dimension. And I'll do the same with all of my photos. Right, I have moved on because I was fiddling around quite a lot. So I've added all my ephemera. So appropriately, obviously, the travel ephemera. And I'm now pulling and sticking down the landmark elements from the set. So using the glossy accents. So we've got the Eiffel Tower, we've got some of the words, Paris, Ooh La La, and Magnifique. And I've got the Arc de Triomphe and the Louvre as well. So I'm just getting those all added down. I like the pops of black that adds. Nearly forgot to stick down my Good Vibes title, but we'll get that stuck down now. And then I'm sort of almost there. There are a few little bits I add off camera after I'd finished because I just decided I needed a couple of little bits. I had my journaling over there onto the left below the title. Popped in a little safety pin there that I just had on my, on my craft desk, but I changed that to a little beaded cord. And I've got a little geotag there that says here, and honestly, fiddle around with that. Look, can't quite decide, but I feel like I need to add a bit of yellow. There we go, and I'm added it in down that bottom there. Okay, here is the final layout. I've added in the beaded cord at the top, as you can see, journaling down on the left, and I added a few more little star stickers as well. Here are the close-up photos of the Paris Landmark set, the Good Vibes set, and the Fox Cut Stencil number 69. Hope you've enjoyed watching my process video, and I will see you again soon. Thanks so much. Bye for now.